Hello, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today's rant is going to be titled, You Can't Save Everyone, because sometimes, we'll be living our life and, obviously we're going to come across people that we think are in danger and need to be saved. And we try everything in our hearts and we give our all trying to save certain individuals, but sometimes you can't save people, and it's a really, really hard thing to come to terms with, but you can't save everyone. And, I'll give you an example. I grew really close with this woman that I used to talk to, and, we met on the internet playing Xbox, and we started to get really close and we really liked each other. She lived in New York and I live in Massachusetts. So we weren't that far away from each other, like 3 hours, I think it was. But, I never met her, but she was an online friend and she was really close to me and literally. And, and, it came to the point where she told me that she was using drugs, and I really didn't know how to respond to it, but, obviously I didn't want her to use drugs. I wanted her to stop, and she was using hard drugs and mostly heroin. I think it only was heroin, but, she knew that she had to stop, and obviously, it was bad, but she knew that she had a problem, and that was one of the best things about it, is she knew that she needed to change. But, you know, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the story because this story is pretty long, but basically what happened in the end is that she ultimately died. She died back in 2020. It was May of 2020 she passed away. And, she fought and fought and, she was a fighter, but the addiction, it won eventually, but I wanted so much to save her. Obviously I wanted to save her from her addiction, but, I couldn't save her because when someone's addicted to drugs, they have to save themselves. There's things that they have to do. Just like people around me, they want to save me from my eating addiction, me being overweight, which I've talked about in other episodes. They want to save me from that, obviously. And no one's going to save me from that except myself. So, you can't save everyone. And unfortunately, I couldn't save her from her own addiction. And now she's gone. And it really sucks, though, because, you can want the best for somebody, but you can't save them always. And you have to come to terms with that because a lot of people don't want to accept that fact. But it's true. You can't save everyone. And, that's probably the fact with firefighters. They're saving people from a building. And, let's say out of like 30 people, they save 25 or 26, but the other 5 or 4 people die, You can't save everyone. And that's just a fact of life. But, I'm making this because I feel like we get into mindsets where we try to fix everything, save everything, and saving everything isn't always just about people. It can be about relationships too. You can't save all relationships. You can't save like I always used to get into that mindset too where I feel like I could save everything, Some relations sorry, my voice gave out when I was talking. Some relationships just run their course and then you're over with them, And sometimes when you are in a relationship and it ends, you'll try to save it, but then, you come to terms with it after a while that it wasn't meant to be saved. But everyone approaches it differently. And, you know, eventually you're going to come to the terms with it that you can't save everything. And it's just part of life. There's so many relationships I tried to save that I couldn't save, I tried everything. I was the best version of myself, and it wasn't tangible to save. So, you know, it sucks. It really does fucking suck, but it's just a fact of life that we can't save everything. And this is literally just a video to remind myself and to remind other people that, there's going to be times when you can't save people or you can't save situations from happening. But anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Morris October Rant. Signing out. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.